It's not every day that a weapon throws me for a loop. Normally, you point, you shoot, you win. However, this one is a bit more devious than that. Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're gonna be diving deeper into the mysteries of the Ballistica Prime. Now, considering the high mastery lockout on this weapon, I'm gonna be assuming that you already know some of the basics. However, I will keep my new player-friendly tone. So if you're a veteran of the game, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Ballistica Prime. Firstly, let's check out how the weapon handles without any sorts of mods equipped. Now you can fire the Ballistica Prime one of two ways. You can do a normal click, which will release 4 flying arrows, or you can do a charge shot by holding your left click pressed down, which will also fire 4 bolts. So what are the differences? Because the wiki unfortunately doesn't cover everything. If you kill a target with a charge shot, you will get a ghost. Yes, a ghost for 7 seconds, no more, no less. In order to get a ghost, you must kill a target with a charge shot within 50 meters, meaning if you kill a target with a charge shot from outside of 50 meters, you will not spawn a ghost, and there is no limit to how many ghosts you can have. Now these guys, like I said, hang around for about 7 seconds and they will alert enemies. One of the selling points to me for the Ballistica Prime was the fact that it was silenced, but if I'm gonna kill a target on a spy mission with a charge shot, then I'm gonna alert pretty much everybody because of the ghost. I want to point out a couple of other things too. No matter if you do a charge shot or a normal shot, it will consume 4 ammo. So essentially your mag clip is only 8 and your total ammo capacity is only 80. There is no way to get it to consume less ammo than that. Another thing that the wiki doesn't tell you is about the speed of the projectile. This is a projectile weapon and you might not notice it from this, but we did extensive testing. And charging up a shot does not only double the damage it does, but it also doubles the speed of the projectile. So you're gonna have to adjust for that. Now let's jump into stats and see exactly what we're dealing with. First and foremost, my weapon has been formatted a total of 4 times. Keep in mind that the Ballistica Prime by default comes with 2 V's and a dash, so it's not the type of weapon that will require you to format a whole lot. And for the weapon build, I'm recommending you guys 2, maximum 3 should be more than enough. Mod capacity is 60 out of 60, and if yours has only 30 out of 30, then jump into actions and plug in an Orokin catalyst. This one can be found from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie. If not, simply pay 20 plat for it. Accuracy is 4.0, which might be a bit misleading. However, bow rules apply and the accuracy is quite nice, so it shouldn't really bother you. The charge rate for the charge shot is 0.8 by default, and the critical chance is 20% and multiplier 2.0, which is quite nice, and this will be the strong suit of the Ballistica Prime. Fire rate is 3.33. You don't have to do a charge shot if you don't want to and spawn a ghost. You can do normal shots. However, if you approach things like that, you're gonna be running out of ammo with or without carrier, so keep that one in mind. Magazine, like we talked about earlier, it does say 32, but you're firing 4 at once, so it's effectively 8, noise silent as long as you don't spawn a ghost, and the reload is quite nice at 1.2 considering you're gonna be reloading a lot. Riven disposition came as a bit of a surprise to me. It's 2 out of 5. Just keep in mind that this one is tied into the entire Ballistica family, and the Rakta Ballistica is quite popular as well. Status chance is 20%, but here's the kicker. It's not really 20%. This 20% gets divided among your arrows. So you fire 4 by default, so each one of them will have roughly a 5% status chance. Effectively, pellet-based shotgun rules apply. Once again, the status chance does get divided among your arrows. Trigger is charge, and the damage you can see laid out here: impact, puncture, and slash. Slash being the second highest. However, here's another kicker. The damage you see here applies to the charge shot. These are the values for the charge shot. If you want to know the damage values for the normal shot, you gotta slash these numbers in 2. So there's that. Now let's slap on some mods, and as per usual, we're gonna start off with some damage. Hornet Strike will add 220% of mandatory, and you can also go for something like Magnum Force. Now this one, fully upgraded, will offer you only 66% damage, and it will take 33% away from your accuracy, and in general I advise against this mod as the benefit it brings is quite small. Auger Pact is much better, by all means, 90% damage, and you also get the benefit of the set bonus there. However, I never seem to manage to fit this mod mod into any of my builds since there are always better options. So for damage, Hornet Strike will be enough. Next, as per the usual, multi-shot, and barrel diffusion is going to be mandatory, 120% multi-shot, but we're not going to stop there, we're also going to be adding Lethal Torrent. Now normally I advise against extreme fire rate, but in the case of the Ballistica Prime, the fire rate helps us greatly because it brings down that charge rate, and we will want to do a lot of charge shots. Again, if you're not doing some sort of spy mission and you want to stay covert. The fire rate is brought up to 5.33, but most important is the charge rate brought down to 0.5, plus of course the 60% multi-shot. Now, of course, our status chance got increased as well, but as we already discussed, pellet-based shotgun rules apply, and in order to get this weapon to a true 100% status chance, you're gonna need plus status effects, such as from the 60/60 mods, and a Riven that would be godlike on status chance. Even like that, I haven't fully crunched the numbers, it would be very difficult to actually get this weapon to a true 100% status chance. So if we can't play into status, how about we play into raw damage instead? So let's go for crit. Point Strike will add 120% crit chance, and if you guys have prime versions of any of the mods that I recommend, jump right in and use your prime versions. For the sake of presentation and a cheap build, for the initial build, we're going to be keeping it cheap and affordable. Target Cracker, now that we got a 44% critical chance, we're going to buff up our crit damage with Target Cracker, and its multiplier will jump up to 3.2x. If you can get your hands on this, then by all means, it's definitely worth it for the Ballistica Prime. Now that we got our damage, our crit chance and our crit damage, what we want to do is further amplify everything with elemental damage. And as per the usual, elemental damage should be applied on where you're going and who you're fighting. We're going to be taking the example of the Grenier with ferrite armor. These guys are the toughest targets in Warframe, which is why they're my favorite guinea pigs. Against Grenier and ferrite armor, we're going to be wanting to make corrosive, which is the combination of electricity and toxin. And currently in Warframe is the most popular combination of elements. Just keep in mind that viral is also a good option, and viral does good in mostly any circumstances, so keep that one in mind. Convulsion is going to be the 90% mod for electricity. We are not going to use the 60/60 mods because of the way that status chance works for the Ballistica Prime. We got electricity, let's slap on some toxin with pathogen rounds, and now finally I got my corrosive, and look at that corrosive value for a secondary, 4.9k. Just keep in mind again, this is only for the charge shot. Normal shot will only do 2.45k. As for our last slot, well, this is what I like to call an option slot. Now you can further amplify the corrosive with even more electricity or toxin. Malignant Force is the more less expensive option, and it will bring up our charged corrosive to 6.5k. However, in testing, and somewhat obvious considering how the status chance works, the best mod was Hydraulic Crosshairs. Now Hydraulic Crosshairs is not exactly the most well-known mod, currently at least. You can get this one from the trade chat. You can pay a maximum of 10 plat for it, and on headshot this will buff up your crit chance by a whopping 145% while aiming for 9 seconds, and you're gonna get tremendous uptime out of this one. And that's gonna be our last mod. Since we got our initial build, let's test it out and see what exactly it can do. We're gonna be spawning in Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 115. As you can see, I picked up Vauban because, well, I'm gonna be spawning in Ghost and they knock everything down. On the right column, we're gonna be doing charge shots. Now, when doing charge shots, a full clip will be more than enough to take care of one of these guys, with the downside that it may be spawning a Ghost. Now, the Ghosts sometimes do help because they can crowd control like that, but most of the time they simply get in the way. And on the left column, full blast. And you see there is a noticeable damage difference between fanning the hammer and doing charge shots. It's gonna really come down to you and what kind of situation you're in, because it doesn't necessarily mean you should be doing charge shots all the time. Definitely not. And this is pretty much what the build can do, what the Ballistica Prime can do with such a build. One more time for charge shots. We got the crit buff up on my upper right corner. You will see that is the Hydraulic Crosshairs buff, and again you should be getting great uptime out of that one. I gotta say, I didn't expect the Ballistica Prime to pack this great of a punch. Then on the other hand, I didn't expect it to be as devious as it is. Now let's switch to something with a bit more humph. My Riven setup. Now this one, is the story of what could have been, as so often is the case. We got 120% crit chance, 100% almost multi-shot, minus weapon recall, which for the Ballistica is mostly worthless. It doesn't have a bad recall on it, and minus ammo maximum, which hurts a whole lot more than you might think. Do not get minus ammo maximum for the Ballistica. Try to get something like minus zoom. Prioritize crit chance, crit damage, multi-shot, and/or damage. That would be like quote-unquote godlike, I believe the Warframe traders call it. In any case, we also swapped up Prime Target Cracker. We replaced the normal version, and we got more crit chance, of course, more damage. And the Riven took up the place of Hydraulic Crosshair. And of course, we're going to be spawning in the exact same set and repeat the test so you can see the difference with a Riven. Unfortunately, the negative on this one will really hurt. Charge shot on the right, and we're going to fan the hammer on the left side. And as you can see, that impact damage for the Ballistica is absolutely glorious. It can pack one hell of a punch. Now, if I get lucky with status chances, I can even take one of these guys out just by fanning the hammer and not risk the chance of spawning a ghost at a bad time. Look at that. Absolutely awesome. It just shreds right through them. But as you can see, the negative of my Riven and in general the problem of the Ballistica just came into play. I am out of ammo. But we're not gonna stop here. We're gonna go back to Mirage, since she is my weapon specialist, and we're gonna further augment everything the Ballistica can do. Now please keep in mind that when it comes to aura, you need pistol amp for the Ballistica Prime, even though it is a bow. Pistol damage increased by 27%, because again, everything pistol applies to the Ballistica. As for arcanes, the same selection as always when it comes to pistols. Arcane Awakening on reload, 40% chance for plus 100% damage to pistols for 16 seconds, and this one works beautifully with the Ballistica Prime because you are gonna be reloading quite often. And the second one, Arcane Velocity on critical hit, which we do loads of, 60% chance for plus 80% fire rate to pistols for 6 seconds. Now of course this one will help greatly with the charge time for your charge shots. You can farm these two down on Cetus. They are dropped by the second Eidolon. As for pistol lamp, it's about 10, maybe maximum of 15 plat from the trade chat. If not, keep an eye out for alerts. We're gonna be spawning in the... Oh no, you ruined my fashion. And we're gonna be spawning in the exact same set one more time, and we're gonna go further than that. We're gonna activate Mirage's first ability for the clones, her third ability for the huge 418% damage increase. Now take a look at this guy's health after a single charge shot, no arcane buffs. And that is roughly, what is that, 60% of his health remaining, another charge shot, and it's GG, well played. What a weapon this can be. We're gonna go over here because the ghost will get in the way. We can also fan the hammer if we so desire, and you can tear through these guys with no problem at all. Now if you go for something like rapid fire, you no longer are running the risk of spawning a ghost when you don't want to. But there's no denying the absolute power, look at that, of the charge shot. 2 shots easy mode. A single shot took like 70% of his health off. As for my conclusions to the Ballistica Prime, well, it's definitely a very interesting weapon. You don't see a secondary weapon being able to deal this much damage with a single shot, not every day. Not even the Lex Prime can do something like this. However, its quirkiness, the thing with the ghost and all whatnot, makes it a bit less usable than I would have liked. I love weapons which have like their own personality and all whatnot, but honestly, it doesn't simply work out all that well, unless of course you just want a flat, high amount of damage with charge shots, then absolutely. You can't exactly go full blast with spamming your rapid fire, because if you do that, you're gonna be running into ammo issues. Now, point taken, my ammo issues are greater in this case because of the Riven I have, but stay 10 minutes into a survival, okay, 15 minutes max or a defense, and you're gonna be running out of ammo with or without carrier, and that really bothers me about the Ballistica. Anyway, that's gonna do it for now. I'm gonna thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you got any feedback for me or would like to request a specific weapon review, leave it in the comment section down below. I give you my word, I will read each and every comment. But until next time, guys, bye-bye.